interesting because, okay, so obviously they do the 2022 report. They do the annual report at the end of the year and it reports the whole year. So it's a chance to paper over the cracks and sell everything off for more than it's worth. It's a chance to cover asses and show achievements. But so here, the detective unit, right? Detective Sergeant John Lawrence was the supervisor of the detective unit in 2022 until his retirement in December. Okay. Obviously, the Moscow, Idaho 1122 King Road attacks occurred in November. So that's pertinent. The detectives unit was comprised of Detective Sergeant Lawrence, General Detective Danny Vargas, and forensic detectives Lawrence Mowry and Eric Kjornes. Due to staffing issues, we were unable to fill the second general detective position, and that position was left vacant this year. Upon Detective Sergeant Lawrence's retirement, so bear in mind he retired in December, Corporal Brett Payne was transferred to the role of Detective Corporal. I have never heard of a Detective Corporal before, but this is Idaho, folks. As a part of the restructuring of the services division, Detective Corporal Payne is now tasked, because he was interchangeably called detective. He was called detective at times, wasn't he, in newspaper reports. Now, I wonder if it was after he actually became a detective and it was an accurate characterisation of his role, or if people were just making assumptions or giving him a bit more credit or authority than he had. Payne is now tasked with the day-to-day management and supervision of the detective unit. I mean, he only came in 4 years ago. Previously in the military police, you heard me speculate in the previous video, but I have done a video on that. So I obviously made that video prior to the video that I posted regarding Payne being previously in the military police. But it's not the same, it's different. I wonder if it pissed anybody off that he got that role. I get a bit of so in Austin Powers, I've forgotten who the baddie is in Austin Powers. What was his name in that? Oh my God, I swear I've got dementia. Whoever that was, you'll remember it. That's who I think of, and I think he's going to do that thing with his fingers at the side of his mouth and start stroking a cat. This restructuring and supervision of the detective unit and reports directly to the administrative sergeant. This restructuring created another avenue in the department for corporals. This restructuring, so they created something for him. This restructuring created another avenue in the department for corporals to gain experience not only in detective work, but in supervising a speciality unit of the department. They've created a role for him, something specifically for him. This guy, what is it? This is drones. That's what it is, I think. He's brought in the drones, and God knows what he's been doing with them. Because I really feel like they play some sort of role in this. Perhaps, I bet they've been following Koberger around. I bet he's had his drones on Koberger. Detectives handled 129 cases in 22. These cases ranged from death investigations to agency assists. They were involved with health and welfare investigations, as well as the Child Abuse Task Force and the Coordinated Community Response Task Force for Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault. Oh, no report taken. The amount of times I've seen a domestic incident where it says no report taken. Was that a new plan, or was that the existing plan? In November, Patrol received a report of an unconscious subject. Upon initial investigation, it was found to be a quadruple murder. It was found that quadruple murder had occurred. Detective Sergeant Lawrence and MPD command staff quickly set out mobilising other agencies to aid our department in the investigation, including the Idaho State Police and the FBI. The entire MPD detective unit, count 'em, worked tirelessly with our assisting agencies to investigate the murders, which ultimately led to the arrest of suspect, not of the suspect or a suspect, but of suspect. Probably just a typo though. At the time of this writing, the case is still pending. Who's that guy? So this is Sergeant Lawrence, who Brett Payne took over from. He likes to ride his motorbike. Ooh, don't know how I did that. And other positions Sergeant Lawrence has held, in case you're interested. He was a firearms instructor and instructor on arrest techniques, a field training officer, and special response team and riot team leader. He has many hobbies: motorcycling, fishing, hunting, and rebuilding engines and cars. Oh, he also served in the US Army National Guard. It would be rude of him not to be honest, between 1987 and 1994. And he was a narcotics detective, corporal sergeant, and detective sergeant twice. This is Mackenzie Fosberg. This certificate denotes officers have reached an advanced, so she's reached an advanced level of expertise. She was a resource officer at one point. I'm not quite sure she doesn't mention it here. I'm not sure if she's still, might be. I wanted to mention Jake Lee because I found out that he is or was the campus officer. He was Officer of the Year in 2020, and there's a lawsuit against him and James Fry because they arrested people who were singing psalms at there was some kind of like oh my god, bear with my brain for a second. Some kind of why can I not think of the word, like a sit-in, like a protest. There we go, there it is. I found it in there, rifled through and found it. It was protest. I don't know if it was to do the masks thing or what, but they were singing psalms, and there were at least 2 or maybe a few more arrested. I think it might have been 2. One of them was somebody called Gabriel. Now I want to say Reach, it could be Leach. It's an each, basically. Yeah, and so him and James Fry were part of, they were sued, basically, or something like that, something similar. So yeah, he's a campus officer. He also has a heavy brow. Just saying. Ooh. He's a problem solver. He treats each job assignment as an opportunity to educate himself. He treats everyone with dignity and respect. He has received numerous accolades, apart from people singing psalms. He has received numerous accolades from campus officials regarding his unique ability to deal with students in crisis. It's just guff. They just say all this stuff, and like, I read what Casey Green said in that other article, and then I saw him in action, and I'm sorry, but I actually don't believe any of this now, because I've seen how these people behave, and I don't find it to be very respectful. I mean, Casey Green's there staring up at their bedroom window. How did he think he was doing? Imagine somebody going around the back of his house and doing that. Just completely inappropriate. So he, it says here, spearheaded the campus and downtown mask patrol and developed a method of system tracking educational efforts. So he likes a mask. And just saying, system tracking educational efforts from the beginning of the COVID-19. I don't understand this. Developed a method of system tracking educational efforts from the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. How did he do that? What sort of tracking was he doing? Officer Lee embodies the police department's core values. Well, I've seen the core values, so that don't impress me much, in the wise words of Shania Twain. Okay, just a little warning, there might be a bit of background noise from my fan because it's a bit warm, and the occasional vehicle passing by. So, Casey Green, City of Moscow. Interesting. They've changed the format. So, annual wages in 2022 for Casey Green, who's a corporal. Mind you, he's been with Moscow for 15 years, was nearly $91,000. Casey Green is getting in the big bucks. But now, it was easier to do this before, but they've really recently changed this, and I'm taking it personally. So in 2021, curiously, Casey Green was earning more money. He was earning $94,500 per year. Don't know why that would change, if it's to do with responsibilities. Let's have a look at 2020. No, thank you. Right, this is weird. quite the jump from 2020 to 2021. So in 2020, as you can see, he was earning $74,500. And then in 2021, he jumps to a staggering $94,500. And then in 2022, he jumps back down to $91,000, although not a shabby amount of money. So just to refresh your memory of who Casey Green is, he did the noise disturbance. He looks younger than I expected. He was the one looking up at the window, at Kaylee's window, during the noise disturbance body cam footage with Nate Rosendahl. So there we go. He also has a is this 2022? Let me just check what year we've got here. I think this might be 2021. Yeah, we don't want to look at that one. I just want a bit more info on Casey Green's role. So I think this is 2022. I know he's a corporal, but I feel like he at least at some point was working specifically with the university, because one of my previous videos, there's an interview with him and James Fry, and he's the one who says about giving, I don't even think he's in this report. He's the one who says about giving students lifts, so rides back from when they've been on a night out, basically getting people home safely, which is not what we see. Unless they do take that young lady home subsequently. In the most recent body cam footage that we've seen on Truth and Transparency, it seems they just let that girl stagger off into the night, and they said that those three boys were staggering all over the place in the 3 a.m. video. Well, I didn't see any staggering there, but I certainly did with this young lady. She appeared to be walking like she had Alzheimer's. Right. So we're going to look at Shane Gunderson now. I'm going to have to find him. I think he's here. Yes, with this dashing moustache. He really went for it. He really went for it in Movember, didn't he? I'm assuming this is his Movember tash. A dash of a tash. Right, where are we? Shane Gunderson. He is a sergeant. And if you thought Casey Green was doing well, Shane Gunderson's doing remarkably well. This is more, to be fair, it was 2020, than Bill Thompson was earning in 2020. But Bill Thompson is a prosecutor. He's like the county prosecutor. It is staggering how much money they're getting, and considering that Richie Skiles was requesting a 7% pay rise for boots on the ground officers and 8% for the higher ups. So, wow, he had a big jump from 2021. Was he not a sergeant then? So let's just compare. Hold on, let's check if he was a sergeant then, because does it say? This salary is 160% higher. When it's 88,000, it's 160% higher than the average and 360% higher than the median in the city of Moscow. Oh, the average annual wage is 34,000. It doesn't say what his role is when in 2021. We can look at the report, but there's right, okay, let's look at the report, because it would be interesting to know why his wages jumped up quite that much. Right. No, he was a corporal then. Okay. So he went up a rank and he did considerably better. And I'm just going to look at Brett Payne in his pay. So 88,626. That's about the same as he was getting as a corporal, isn't it? Bit more. But it was a year earlier, to be fair. So, Shane Gunderson, sergeant, getting 103,406. Let's see how much more than the average Brett Payne's is. It's obviously going to be similar. Yeah, 159% higher than average and 412% higher than the median salary in the city of Moscow in 2022. Okay. Right, Jacob Tesdal. I do apologise, Jacob Tesdal, if I am pronouncing your name, Tesdal. I just don't know how to pronounce it. So he is the officer in Banfield video, body cam, and also the most recent body cam that's on Truth and Transparency. It could be on other YouTube channels, but I haven't seen it. So, he was a corporal. He is a corporal. And he's been with them quite a while, but he's on 78,000. I mean, I don't know how long he's been with them, but I think it's longer than Brett Payne. Don't quote me on that, but I got the impression it was. So, as again, you can see, 128% higher than the average bear in Moscow, 351% higher than median salary, but still a lot less than Brett Payne was getting as a corporal, and a lot less than Gunderson. So what is it? What? So he's 2020. That's strange, because he was earning more in 2019 than 2020. I wonder what makes the difference then. Is it just overtime or what? Surely the salary isn't. I would have thought overtime's separate from the salary. What do you think, guys? Right, Lawrence Mowry now. Lawrence Mowry, I better show you who he is. I think he's towards the end of this, so I'm just going to whiz through. It's down here somewhere, I think. Past here. No, that's not him. It's in the services division. That's John Lawrence. Here we go, Detective Mowry. Another fine tash. Now, he's the one who left. Is he not, or is it John Lawrence who left? It's the Lawrence and the Lawrence. Oh no, it was John Lawrence that left. Right, he's also detective then, Detective Mowry. Okay. So, let's see. How's Detective Mowry faring? So he's a forensic computer detective. Sounds pretty important, but he's earning less than Corporal Payne. Okay, moving on. Now, this guy has definitely recently left. His name is Eric Shawness, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all. Now, he's a forensic computer detective, and he's earning slightly more than Brett Payne was as a corporal. That surprises me, you know. I thought that job would be pretty... I mean, it's good pay, obviously, but compared with... I thought it'd be more than a corporal, but a corporal is a supervisory role, to be fair. So, John Lawrence, this is the one, the detective that supposedly he left in December, and it was said that that was when Brett Payne was replacing him in December. Okay, so he is earning a decent wage, but not as much as Gunderson, who was on 105,000 approximately. So again, I wonder what the difference is. Okay. Now, somebody that I do want to look up is... Now, the spelling's going to be tricky here. Let's go back. Back one more. Right. Mackenzie Fosberg. Okay, so Mackenzie Fosberg. It doesn't say what she's earning. Oh, it does. Now, I don't know if she might have started working part-time or something, but her wages are at 48,000. I'll show you her in a moment. Whereas in 2020 there was 64,000. So this could be all about... I don't know if she might have gone part-time, but I mean, I'm only trying to think of a reason why her wages would be, her salary would be at that. I'll show you her. Oh no, it's at the other end of the report. I think it could be in the... Let me look in the 2021. It might be easier to find. Bear with. Appreciating. There we go. Okay. I know she's been with them a long time because where I've seen a video of her as a resource officer, and I actually thought that she was a student because she looked so, literally thought she, even a school kid, I thought she was. She looked so young. And I think that was, I don't know, it could have been 2016, it could have been a bit earlier than that, I can't remember. We've got it going back to 2016 here anyway. So that's interesting. I do hope it's nothing to do with gender, is what I'm hoping. I don't know if there's any way of finding that information out. Still says it's 40% higher than average within Moscow, but obviously, wow. It doesn't tell us anything about whether it's a part-time role or what. Okay, Ryan Snyder is the canine guy. Let me show you Ryan Snyder. This is him. He's always smiling. Very smiley. He's happy with his dog, I think. He's happy spending time with that dog. Right. Ryan. Do you know, I've had to do this video. I'm not even going to moan about it, that I've had to do it all over again. I don't know what happened to things on my phone, I swear to God. Something, I don't know, it just kind of corrupted or something. Job title, no, we won't go for job title. What we'll do is employer, city of Moscow. Wow. Snyder's doing all right, isn't he? He's a corporal, but because of his speciality with canine, I think that's what's bumped him up. So he's on 91,000, and that's a big old jump. No wonder he's smiling. Big jump since 2021. Okay. I might put this website and the annual report in the... is there anybody else we really would like to have a look at? I'm going to put the... I'm just going to put it in the description so you can find faces who you want to look for, if you want to look for anybody in the annual report, and obviously peruse that, and the website that I've been looking at to check out salaries. Mitchell Noons was one. Actually, I'll quickly look at Mitch Noons. Hold on, let's find a picture of him. Is that him? Where did I just see that name? Am I looking at a different report? Man! Right, I know he's in the 2021 report, so let's have a look at that. There he is. Right, Mitchell Nunes. Reason being that he was the one who was first on the scene, I believe, at 1122 King Road. So let's have a look at him. Move over big bucks. They called him Mitch Nunes, but I think for some reason there's no T in it. Or Nunes. I could be wrong there. No, yeah, there probably is a T in it. Why did I think that? Here we go. City of Moscow, police officer. Yeah, he was the guy who was one of the first at the scene. And I remember Brett Payne saying in the PCA that Officer Nunes had told him that the dog, what's it called again? Murphy was was found in the spare room, apparently. So, right, yeah. So I'll leave it at that, and you can have a look at any more if you want to. As I said, the links will be in the description. I can't recall if I put this in the previous video or if it's within the one that crashed that I'm replacing right now. So I'm gonna add it in anyway, because it would take me ages to look at. I did have a quick look through and I couldn't see it in the previous one, so I'm going to assume I need to do it again. And it's interesting because this is Nate Rosendahl. Nate Rosendahl, we've seen in many body cam videos. We've seen him in Banfield. We've seen him in the most recent one that was on Truth and Transparency at the 10 p.m. on the 12th, alcohol infraction, and the noise complaint where he talks to Kaylee Gonsalves. So this is interesting. I mean, I don't know if maybe he started mid-year. I don't think it said that in the report though. Let's have a look here. So during 2022, it doesn't say specifically, I don't think, about Officer Rosendahl grew up in Moscow. Yeah, he moved to Bellingham, Washington, and eventually went to work for Bellingham Police Department and was a member of the SWAT team. Moved back to Moscow, but it doesn't say when. Okay, so it could be that he didn't work for the entire year, which is why his salary would be, well, we know he's been there since August, so that would, even if that was half his salary, that would still only make his salary about 50,000, which is very surprising considering that when he was at the city of Bellingham, he was on 84,000, nearly 85,000, and he was on 30,000 more than he was the previous year. I mean, we can understand why he might not be in the best of moods then. It might explain all these body cam footage that we see. Is there a feeling of resentment towards Moscow? Is he unhappy in his job? Was he, rather? Because I do believe, well, I don't know this for sure because I only have this information from Truth and Transparency that Nate Rosendahl left. However, I then saw him on their Facebook page helping another officer rescue a cat. And that was in 2023, so I'm a bit confused as to whether he's left or not. Anyway, I also wanted to look at the other guy who had started the same time as him. So, Brandon. Now it's an unusual spelling. Brandon Step. Stirk. Search. Okay. Oh, marvellous. Low battery yet again. Seriously need a new phone. And the charger will not work in it. There we go. Right. How are we spelling his name? Oh, it's Branson. Wow. I've never heard of anybody called Branson. Was that a typo on the birth certificate? The D and the S are very close together on the keyboard, to be fair. Okay, so 2022, he was only on 33,000. And he was earning more in 2021, working for the university. So was he on a campus patrol person then? Let's just recap. I know that I do read this somewhere else, but I'm curious again to read it in context. This is on one of these videos somewhere. So he graduated from Hillsborough High School, then joined the United States Air Force, much like Brett Payne, who also was in the Air Force, but he was in the Paras, where he served in security forces as a military police officer, like Brett Payne. After the military, Officer Stirk attended college, moved to Moscow, and worked for University Idaho Parking and Transportation. So he wasn't a police officer, but he was earning more money working for parking and transportation. He'd have a very good knowledge of the whole area. I suppose all the officers would, really, but that's interesting. Yeah, he was earning more then, but still, this is a lot less than we see other officers. 3% lower than average and 92% higher than median. Yeah, so what was, go back to Rose. Oh, it's not going to take me back. Okay. Right, I want to see what it says about average and everything on that. Nathaniel. Don't know why my phone can't remember this. Am I spelling that? Because he's got this unusual spelling also for his first name. So 27% lower than average and 45% higher than median. 27% lower than average. Wow, that's curious, isn't it? I wonder why this is. Could be a good reason why he left. Wow. Interesting. I'm going to continue on in another. Well, I'm not going to share any more salaries, but I am going to talk about the 2022 annual report in an episode following this, rather than putting it all together as one big episode, because it does take a really long time to upload then, and I'll be able to put it out quicker if I put them out separately. So I'm going to do that. So look out for, if you're interested at all, I'm not going to read through the whole report, but just certain bits that could be of interest to people, I am going to look at, or we are going to look at, if you are in. Okay.